Next, we'll make the ridge on the inside of the cupcake so that the lid stays on and it doesn't slide off. As you can see, this one also has that little ridge in here, and it's great because then the lid doesn't slide off. But this one doesn't have that little ridge, and as you can see, the lid can slide off really easily and it's not very secure. So you need to have kind of a little ridge that you put right on the inside of this that stands up a little taller than your cupcake that holds your lid on. So for that, I'm going to take an extra piece of clay, not my 2-inch ball of clay, but I'm going to take a different piece of clay and just roll it out with my rolling pin. Make sure you roll it on both sides. And you want to make it about as thick as your ruler. So you can put a ruler on each side of it. And you can just roll it like that, and that way it will be exactly the right thickness. Next, you can cut a couple of pieces of that clay. And you might have to connect those together to make it long enough to go around the inside of yours. I don't know how big mine needs to be, but I think it needs to be a little bit bigger. Yeah, so that should be big enough. You can test it out to see how big you want it to be. Mine, that looks about right, and I can cut it. So place it inside of there, get it to the size you want, and then put your pen tool in right like this and cut through both layers of that clay, and then you can take off this extra piece that you don't need and this little tiny extra piece that you don't need, and now you know you've got it exactly the right size to fit on the inside there. So you can take your scoring tool or your scratching tool, and you can scratch just on the edge of the inside of your cupcake and dab a tiny bit of water on that so that you can stick your other piece of clay in securely. And I'm going to smooth this out a little because it looks a little bit rough at the top edge and I want it to be nice and smooth. There. And now I'll place this inside. And I don't know if you can see this very well, but I placed it in there so that it's halfway inside and halfway sticking out. I do want it to stick out above the top edge like that. And I'm pressing it outwards so that it gets more firmly pressed into the clay. But also, you can see where this piece joins in there. It's best if you can blend that clay in by smoothing it across that ridge to fill it in so that it's all combined, so it's like one solid piece of clay. Okay, so now this is nice and smooth. And it sticks out, and I want to make it nice and even, so I'm just going to tap it gently to try to get it to be the even height all the way around. Okay, next I can make the lid of my cupcake, which is like the frosting. As you can see, it's going to fit right over and on that little ridge that we just made. So here's my 2-inch ball of clay and another pinch pot. So put your thumb inside and pinch and turn until you can get 2 thumbs inside, and you can pinch and turn. Again, your primary goal here is you want it to be bowl-shaped, but you also want it to be pretty even. So you need to feel with your fingers and thumb how thick it is and try to smooth out any lumps so that they're all the way around. It's about the same thickness, and you will find some thick spots, and you need to rub your thumb on the inside and pinch your fingers on the outside and try to smooth those out the best you can. Then you can test it and see if it's the right size by fitting it on and see if it fits onto your cupcake bottom, and mine does. It should be a little bit loose, and mine is just right. Now the outside is still a little bit lumpy looking, so I'm going to smooth it out a little. And you can decorate this any way you want. I've got these cookie cutters, but it's actually for fondant cutters for frosting, and these are really nice because you can cut out lots of different shapes and you can attach them on to make your frosting look like it's really professionally decorated. If you want to, you can try it. For that, you'll need some extra clay, and you'll want to roll it out pretty thin, a little bit thinner than you did last time. Not paper thin though, just a little bit thinner than you did before. And then you can take some of your fondant cutters and cut out a few nice shapes. You have to gently push it to get it out without deforming it. And then you can attach these onto your frosting piece with the scratch and attach method. Get it a little bit wet and press it on. I'm trying not to make too many fingerprints, but I do want to press it firmly enough so that it gets attached. All right, my frosting is complete. I think I might want a few sprinkles on my cupcake, so I'm going to use a pencil. Just make kind of dots so it looks a little bit like sprinkles. All right, looks great. You need to make sure that your name is on the inside. Don't just put your initials, put your actual name. I'm putting my last name. And then you'll have to peel the mold gently off of your cupcake and put your name on the bottom of that. You need to have your name on both pieces. It's very difficult if these get separated and you don't have a name on each one. Make sure you have your name on both pieces and keep the lid off to let this dry. And that's it. I hope your cupcake turns out just the way you like it. Good luck.